Good evening everyone and welcome back to the League of Europe YouTube channel for round 5 of the Formula 2 season. My name is Aidan Carter, otherwise known as Carmentalist. I will be taking you through proceedings as always, and as always joining me in the comms box today is QVR Daka. How are you doing, mate?
Thank you very much, Ed, and I'm doing just fine this evening. And yes, here we are now for round 5 of the League of Europe Formula 2 Championship. We're here today at Baku, Azerbaijan, to take us around the Baku street circuit, city circuit, and yeah, I'm very much looking forward to this. It's a track which is often very unpredictable, very technical, very difficult, and I should suspect that the racing here will be no different. It's going to be a lot of room on the line here, and yet again a track that punishes mistakes, so we'll see of course who's going to come out on top as we close in on start kicking things off for tonight.
Definitely, this is, like you say, a track that really punishes mistakes, and we've seen in real life Formula 2 how chaotic, well, Formula 2 as a whole usually is chaotic, but coming to a Baku race is absolutely insane, so we'll probably expect more of the same, and we are coming off the back, obviously, of an amazing Spain round. We had some amazing battles. It was a little bit delayed, but it was worth the wait, and we had some great racing. Just before we head into qualifying, the championship standings after the 4th round of the season, Larkin maintains the lead of the championship, but an almost perfect week last week for Toxic. He took 2 wins in the end, and he closes the championship gap back down to 9 points. Toxic in second place is 39 seconds clear currently of Verstappen in 3rd. Chills moved up to 4th ahead of Ling in 5th. Campbell down to 6th. Danny Boy is in 7th ahead of Pease in 8th, Maverick 9th, and Philippe rounds off the top 10. But looking in the top 10 at the moment, I think one person that really stands out to me is Total Pease. He's shone in the last 2 rounds.
Absolutely, and we saw particularly in the last round, that guy was in the wars and he managed to come through it, of course, and he's been one of the highest scoring drivers in both of the last 2 rounds that he's competed in, and a driver that's probably really targeting and run at potentially the top 5 in the standings. Someone that's really surprised both of us, I think, Ed, and yeah, really looking forward to seeing how he does later on in the season.
Definitely, you try and keep up momentum that he's built in the last 2 rounds. He could really fight for 3rd in the championship just based on how poorly some of the rounds were last week for the people in front of him in the championship. Here we go for qualifying. We're going to move away from Killer Blue because I believe Killer Blue does have a qualifying ban for this race. So we'll run a ball with Alex. He's one of 3 LON drivers today. Kevman has joined the league for today's race. He's in the ART. We also have a new driver in the driving Dutchman. He's driving the Dams car today. But we're on board with Alex. He comes up into turn 2 on the lap. Comes through the second corner. Keeps it well away from the ball on the outside. Doesn't use a lot of the track really, keeping it nice and clean. Coming down to the 3rd corner on the track, down the second DRS straight. Obviously the pit straight is the first of the 2. So here we come then through the second part of the first sector. Gets more technical as we go further in the lap. A lot of 90-degree corners to round off the first sector. Comes up to the end of the first sector, and Alex is currently running 4th. His teammates running right at the top, so they've had a very good start. As they now come into the second part of the lap, it gets tighter and tighter as we go on. We're heading up towards the famous castle section, the most iconic section on this track, definitely, as it comes through the very long double. It's almost a double apex hairpin here. The corner now into the castle section. So easy to outbrake yourself and hit the wall on the outside. Very cautious though for Alex. Keeps it well away from the wall but doesn't carry a lot of speed, so that's going to cost him quite a bit of time as he comes over the top of the hill into Kid Straight. There's 2 kinks in this one before we get to the braking zone in the corner, which is very easy to get wrong. He comes through the first kink and then into the second one. So easy to lock up here and go too deep and into the wall on the outside. Alex, though, once again, very ginger on the brakes and on the throttle, keeping it well away from the wall. It's very neat, but it's not particularly fast from Alex. As they come to the end of the second sector, he's running at the bottom end of the top 10. Once again, Toxic is right at the top of the field as we now come to the long back straight. Who's got the best straight line speed in their Formula 2 car? Who's going to be able to get the most momentum through the little kink there? Now onto the long run down to the start-finish line. Look for there to be crazy amount of overtakes in this race. The long run down, who's had the best momentum? It looks like Toxic might hold on to another pole position this time round. He comes up to the line. Toxic's going to cross the line on pole position by 0.3 of a second. Campbell on the front row, I think for the first time this season. Campbell's had a good qualifying session, up in 2nd. Pease once again in 3rd. Miami on debut is in 4th place.
Yeah, that Miami was certainly a driver that caught my eye there over that lap. Superb stuff there to kick off his championship campaign. Very nicely done there. Toxic yet again on pole position. 4 critical points towards the championship. And as you can see, a top 4 in the end that were quite far ahead of the rest of the field.
Yeah, Maverick in 5th place. Good qualifying from the Carlin man. He's 8.5 tenths back though. Both Arden cars set exactly the same time. Larkin gets ahead of his teammate, but championship leader Larkin only 6th on the grid, 1.1 seconds off his championship rival. That's not the best start to his day for Larkin. Felipe in 7th ahead of Verstappen, only 8th. Once again, 1.8 seconds off. And then Tim and Alex round off the top 10 in the 2 Uni Virtuosi cars. Then it's Jordan excelling, only 12th. Dutchman on debut is in 13th ahead of Ibo, Killer Blue, JD Nolan, Gary, Chill, and Kevman, and Ton. 6 drivers in the end who all didn't set a time. Big name there, though, is Chill, currently running 4th in the championship after a good round in Spain, at the back of the field.
Yeah, and a lot of work to do. He's a driver that often qualifies very well, so we'll see if he can try and bounce back in this race. They're in a bit of a unique position for him. One thing I do want to point out, the championship fight is the pendulum swinging back towards Toxic, because we saw after his disastrous feature race there at Zandvoort, and since then he has recovered, it has been all one-way traffic between him and his championship rival Larkin. The gap now, after qualifying, down to 5 points, I believe, and so it could swing back towards the defending champion in this race. Keep an eye out for those 2 drivers in particular. But yeah, Toxic currently on an impervious run forward. If he can keep this swap, then he could find himself back in the championship lead and really starting to move away. We'll see, of course, if Larkin and everyone else can fight back against it. But at the moment, Toxic looking the class of the field.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you on that one. I think by no means Larkin didn't have a poor run in Spain, but it's definitely his worst showing of the season so far. It was in Spain last time out, and obviously Toxic with a double win really put the momentum back in his court, and he's obviously on pole again, and his teammates, his championship rival, is down in 6th place. And around Baku, obviously it's a relatively easy track to overtake at, but being in the midfield around this track, especially on lap 1, is really, really risky. It's so easy to get caught up in someone else's accident here.
Absolutely. It's actually see on the formation lap, Toxic ran into the wall at turn 2. It doesn't want to be doing that in the actual thing, of course, when with that damage activated. But yeah, the first few corners are going to be so tight. It's 90 degree, very narrow, very tight. No room to go if you get it wrong. And so these drivers really have to be keeping an eye out. We've seen even in the likes of Formula 1, Formula 2 in real life, you can actually see sometimes a lot of drivers just really struggle to cope with the track. And we see that's given us some extremely chaotic races. We'll see if these guys can stand to the test and put up a good show for us today. But I suspect that we could be seeing potentially a lot of incidents out there. It's such a almost dangerous track there. I almost describe it as a bit of a health hazard. So these drivers are going to have to watch out for each other. Otherwise, we could be seeing some carnage in the first few corners. But if they can keep it together, well, we could be in for a great race.
Definitely. This is definitely a Marmite track is probably the best way I would describe it. You either love it or you hate it. I'm on the 10. I'm more of the side of things to not particularly enjoy this track to drive on, but to watch racing wise, it is a brilliant track. And the last 2 feature races I've commentated on in Formula 2 around this track, we've had a race for the win that ended up being less than a 10th of a second. So 3 in a row, that would be great if we could have a race for the win that is less than a 10th of a second when they cross the line. Fingers crossed we get something as close as that. Just before we get going though, looking at the strategies that people have gone for, this time around it's the super soft and the medium tyre. So there's a 2-step tyre difference around here, which is a big problem because street circuits traditionally on this game have far less grip than fully fledged, fully built circuits. So it's going to be very, very difficult for those on the mediums to really make these mediums work at the start. The people that are on the mediums, Tim is the first one in 9th place, so no one in the top 8 has gone for something different. Jordan and excelling 11th and 12th are on the mediums. Ibo and Killer Blue are on the mediums in 14th and 15th, and then Chill and Ton 18th and 20th on the medium tyres. But it just goes to show that not a lot of people are very confident in the alternate strategy here.
Oh, of course, because on this game, of course, it's been modified by Codemasters that street circuits have far less grip, as you mentioned. And with the 2 compound difference, well, I suspect those mediums could be seconds a lap slower at the start. We'll see if they're able to hold it together, but certainly I think those top 8 are going to look to try and put some distance between themselves and the rest of the field if they possibly can, as now we have the front of the grid converging. They are lined up on the grid, waiting for everyone else to form up. Topsy and Campbell, 2 sparring partners from last season on the front row. Who's going to get that lead though, going down in a turn 1?
Here we go then for the feature race. Can Toxic hold on? It's a very short run into turn 1, so a poor start, and it's very difficult to make up for it. Here we go then. The lights are on ahead of the drivers. Who's going to get the best start off the front row? It's a long hold, but the lights are out and away they go. It looks a fairly even start at the front of the field. It looks like Maverick's made a brilliant start from the 3rd row of the grid. Campbell just holds on to Pease, but the top 3 stay the same. Around the outside goes Maverick. He's trying to get past Miami at the first corner. We've got someone wide in the background. Verstappen all over the road in the background. I don't know if there was a little bit of wheel-to-wheel contact with someone, but it looks like he's running a bit wide. He's in a 3-wide sandwich with the Virtuosi cars in the background. But Toxic holds on to lead. Campbell holds on to second. Pease holds on to third. Maverick up to fourth. Good start for the Carlin man ahead of Miami and Larkin and Philippe. They all hold position. And then it's Tim next behind him. Jordan Verstappen's dropped a number of places. Nearly lost another one to Alex, but Alex just stays in behind for the time being. Ling and Dutchman are side by side. Dutchman trying to go around the outside on the softer compound. Forces Ling onto the inside curb, and that's a brilliant move. And he's pulled it off. That's a brilliant move from driving Dutchman. He's through, and Excelling is under pressure from Killer Blue now, who's trying to get through from the back of the grid. He's had a good start, having a look to see where everyone else is. Everyone else at the back of the field hasn't really made any progress at all. Chill's not made any places. Tons only made one on Ibo. But at the front of the field, Toxic up and away. Already a tenth and a second and a bit clear. We've got yellow flags. Who's gone off in the castle section?
Alex round.
Oh, Alex round in the castle section.
Yes, he's going to have to try and recover that. Yeah, turn 7 on the exit. Meanwhile, Toxic bolting away at the front there. Look at Tolo Pease, though. He's all over the rear end of Kvyat Campbell, who's struggling a little bit early on because get very close to that wall at turn 15. You've got to be keeping an eye out there, and certainly got Maverick. You mentioned that good start. He's still under pressure from Miami 5, as now we get onto the taps down this very, very long front straight, but at the moment Toxic has built up a 2-second advantage on the opening lap. They're a superb start for the championship contender. Was that Miami 5 getting out of shape there?
Yeah,
in the last corner.
Behind Maverick, he's slammed massively into the wall and has broken his front wing, so a dream start has gone horribly wrong for Miami. He's going to have to pit and change that front wing. Here comes Campbell. He's side by side with Pease. Can Pease go all the way around the outside? He squeezes him onto the apex. They just about get away with no contact, I think, and Campbell's just going to hold the inside line coming into turn 2, but Pease will have the better run coming onto the next straight. Campbell almost had to get out of it. It was almost in the wall on the outside of the corner. He's forcing Pease right against the wall. Pease is not backing out of it, though. Coming down into turn 3, there's no DRS as of yet, so Pease is going to have to do this without it. He's down the inside. Campbell cuts across him. They're so close, and they're still side by side as they come to turn 4, and Pease, I think, might make the move stick. No, Campbell inside. They're still side by side, and we've got a full safety car, I believe. Is that a full safety car or is that a virtual safety car? I can't quite see. Have to wait and see. I think it is. It's a full safety car. So we've got a full safety car for someone on the track. I didn't quite see why we've got one. A lot of front wing. And I believe both the Virtuosi cars are down towards the back of the field. So that may be why Excelling might be down towards the back of the field as well with damage. But we've got a full safety car, and I don't think Pease made the move stick. I think Campbell just about held on because of that. But brilliant racing between Campbell and Pease. Campbell just holds on to second place, though.
That was superb between Campbell and Pease there. Absolutely wheel-to-wheel stuff throughout the opening to lap 2. To the first 5 corners of the lap, they were wheel-to-wheel, and eventually the safety car had to spoil the day. I still have no clue who would have come out in front there. Campbell had his nose in front, which is why he was able to maintain that. And Toxic's early lead is going to be diminished. He's going to be gutted because he built up such a massive advantage of up to 3 seconds on the chasing pack. Now he's going to have to do that all again, but considering that he qualifying on pole by only about 0.2 of a second, the fact that he made that ground so quickly off the start is going to be encouraging signs for him, and we'll see if he can do that again on the restart. Campbell's going to have a second chance, so we'll see if he can possibly get his way through.
Let's see if he can try and keep up with Toxic this time around, but Pease looking the racier of the 2 drivers he wanted to get past. As we saw, great battling between these guys. We're on to lap 3 in this race, which means that no one can come in as of yet for their mandatory stop. So this safety car's come out at maybe a bit of a poor time for those running the super softs further down the field, driving Dutchman's into the pit lane, but that will not count as his mandatory pit stop because it is too early. It has to be at the end of lap 3, and we've only just started it, so that's not going to count. So we'll have to make another pit stop in this race. We'll have to wait and see maybe if someone comes in, maybe at another point after the safety car's. Killer Blue's picked up a time penalty for speeding in the pit lane, but he's damaged his front wing, so I can understand why he's in. Ling is in as well to replace his front wing, but they're going to be putting the super softs on, so they will not get to the end of the race from this point onwards. Shame for Excelling, who'd moved his way up into 5th in the championship.
Yeah, and it's a long way to go now for the Dutchman, but we'll see. Often he does tend to almost snatch victory from the jaws of defeat and still score solid points. He's had a very solid season so far, but actually had his lowest point scoring last time out at Spain's going to have a big task in his hands to try and recover. Now, Toxic leads. This is a big opportunity, though, for QVR Campbell, even if he just holds on to second place ahead of a very racy Total Peas in behind him. But if he can just about manage that, it's going to really help him. We've seen he's had such an up and down start to the season, not been able to put together the consistent races they wanted to. Has been very unlucky, but in the last round at Spain only scored 6 points. And when you've got your championship contenders scoring 40 a race, he really needs to step it up. This is a big opportunity for Campbell, but he absolutely has to at least get a podium if he wants any chance of getting back in that title fight.
Absolutely, like he has to try and score the points now. We know it's a longer season than it was last season, but already Toxic and Larkin have such an advantage over the rest of the field. Verstappen is running in third in the championship, but I don't think he scored any more than 10 points in the round previous either. Let's have a double check and see. He scored exactly 10 in Spain. So Verstappen, last time out, lost a relative 37 points to Toxic in one round, which just goes to show that how quickly things can change. So people like Verstappen, like Chill, like Ling, Campbell, they have to use these opportunities to get further up the championship. And at the moment, like you say, especially for Campbell, it's just not come together for him. He is a race winner, but other than race wins, he's finished outside the points quite often this season. So he's going to have to hope to try and maybe work his way forwards. We're on lap 3, so I wonder if any one of the super soft runners is going to come in. Pease is coming in. Wow, and I believe Larkin's followed him in. Larkin and Miami have come in as well. Philippe has come in, so both Ardens are going to be double stacking. That is a shame. That's really going to cost Philippe, especially behind the safety car. They probably will come out at the back of the field anyway, so it might not actually cost him too much time in this one, but it might drop him behind the likes of Gary and JD Nolan. But looking who's coming in, so Pease has come in and put the medium tyres on, as has Larkin, obviously, to meet that mandatory window. But if they can catch up to the safety car queue, they have a massive advantage here, because they have net lost only about 10 or 15 seconds in a pit stop. It would be about half a minute at least at full speed, and Larkin's going to come out behind Excelling. Excelling's actually jumped Larkin, or is Larkin right down the inside? They're racing behind the safety car, but I think Excelling might have that one. He does, so Excelling's ahead of Larkin, so Larkin's going to want to get past him as quickly as possible, because Excelling's going to have to pit again in this race. And Larkin's now, there's a car between him and Pease, but Pease is in an incredibly good position here, with the likes of Toxic and Campbell not coming into the pit lane. They've lost at least 20 seconds in this race.
Yeah, I think that Total Peas might have pulled a strategic masterstroke, and I think maybe a lack of decisiveness on the top two's part there, not to get off those tyres. Maverick and Verstappen, they at least have the advantage of gaining track position, but as far as the top two, they don't really gain anything from this strategy. And now, they're going to have to absolutely fly, use those, those softer tyres to as good effect as they can, and then possibly try and fight back in the end. Got JD Nolan out the session. Hopefully he can get back in before the safety car comes back in. But yeah, I think that Total Peas is in a very good position here. Miami 5 did have to change the front wing in the pits, which is why he's a little further down the field now. But it's a good opportunity for the likes of Larkin to maybe make up ground in the championship. We don't know, as actually he moves past XL Ling now, and Ling's going to go back. So I think it was a little bit of confusion between them, and Larkin does have to give up that place in the end. But Ling on these super soft tyres is going to be flying, and I suspect that he will be just clawing his way through all the cars ahead of him. And if Larkin can stay with him, follow him through, then it puts him in a really strong position, because we know Toxic, Campbell, Maverick, Verstappen, and all those guys in the super softs have to pit, and that's going to put them at a huge disadvantage in this race.
And the problem now is we're having a safety car for another lap. Philippe and Killer Blue haven't caught the queue yet, so the safety car is going to be going out for another lap, which means it's even easier for the likes of Pease and Larkin and Gary as well to take those medium tyres to the end of the race without really any tyre dramas. Probably would have been able to do that anyway, just because of this tyre step difference that we have here. But now it's going to be even easier for them, and they can push even more. Gary's one to look out for. Gary's had a it's been a torrid start to the season, really, for Gary. He's really struggled in these Formula 2 cars. He's not quite had the pace that we're used to seeing from him, but he's in a really good position here. So he could fight maybe for the likes of a reverse grid pole, which would be something really to boost his confidence this season. But I'll say it before, I've said it before, and I will say it again. It sucks that Pease was not here for the first 3 rounds of the championship, because he is a great addition to Formula 2.
Absolutely. We saw in Spain his terrific battle with Chilling with Larkin. That was probably the highlight of the season so far. But yeah, we want to see, of course, more of that from Pease, and I'm very excited to see him now because I think he has a very legitimate chance, and I'm sure you do as well, Aidan. I think he has a very good chance of potentially winning this feature race. What could go against him is traffic. If the field spreads out, you got to remember those top 4 on super softs, then you got Tim, Jordan behind them on mediums. They are not going to be as quick in theory, so it means now that they can put some distance between themselves and the rest of the field. Critically, the likes of Pease, Larkin, Gary, those people that haven't got to make another pit stop. So that's going to be very, very key. The top 4 are going to have to bolt, otherwise they could come under so much pressure. Toxic in the net race lead right now, but if he wants to win this one, he's going to have to really fight.
He really, really has, yeah. And like you say, the thing that's going to really decide this race is Pease getting through traffic and Totsik's speed at this safety car restart. Can he pull out the gap like he did at the start of the race and try and gap the rest of the drivers and not have to overtake as many people when he comes in? We'll have to wait and see where he comes out when he does make his pit stop. Here we go then, we're getting ready for the safety car restart. Totsik's actually got damage. Totsik's got damage on his front right end plate. He's hit the wall somewhere. I don't know if he's hit the wall behind the safety car, but he's missing his front right end plate. So Toxic has a massive disadvantage here. JD Nolan's joined back the session, which is good to see. Hopefully he can get back in his car before the session starts. But Toxic with damage, even more of a disadvantage for him. This is game on for Larkin. Big opportunity here. Where does Toxic go for the safety car restart? He's still slowing down. He's not gone as of yet. We'll have to wait and see. Everyone's queuing up behind. Here we go, wait and see. When does Toxic go?
Ooh.
We've got chill with the 5 seconds.
It's going now.
It's going now, yeah. Got a little bit of repeating, by the way.
Oh, sorry.
Just a heads up, but Toxic has gone out in front. Oh, Maverick is looking really, really racy. He's looking down the inside. Oh, my word. Campbell moved over on Maverick a little bit in a straight line. We've seen that already in this race, but Maverick down the inside on Campbell. Can he get the move done? Campbell's got the momentum. Maverick slides on the exit of the corner. Campbell just about holds on to second place. Verstappen looking racy in 4th as well, trying to get down the inside. Who we got in the back? Wide, I think, at turn 1. And we've got Larkin and the likes of Excelling all through. Excelling's actually lost out to Larkin somewhere, so Larkin's made that place already. Pease is already up to 11th place. He's had a great restart, and he's on the back of Alex for 10th place. Can he get down the inside for turn 3? He's looking down the inside. He's really late on the brakes. From Pease, committed move. Alex doesn't fight it because they know they're on different strategies. Pease is already back into the top 10. He's really, really doing well. He's getting through the pack really nicely. He's now on the back of this queue though, behind Ton. And the big problem for Pease here has got to be Chill, who is going to be wanting to help his teammate out. Ooh.
Larkin down the inside of Alex, gets through their feisty move from the championship leader, goes through, links well to get past Dutchman, and Gary slips through on the outside as Dutchman is almost to get to Miami 5, looks towards the inside of Gary almost. Gary covers it off as they go in a turn 7. The Irishman stays in 14th place as Nolan's out the session again, but that was a superb restart from both Total Pease and from Larkin. They made great progress, and now Pease is going to be on the man on the charge yet again as he crawls onto the back of Ton Almanac. Any move, any gap's going to open up, and he's going to take it. We know the driver is. He's going to go down the inside. This is Sosa risking it. Turn 15. Very, very late on the race again. Has the inside leg. Gives Ton the space on the outside. Wow. And Pease is through again. Up in a 9th place there. Ton Almanac had to get out of that one. Their Total Pease being committed with the moves, being decisive and moving through now up to 9th already. It's exactly what he needs if he wants to try and overhaul Toxic and the likes when they come into the pits.
I was gritting my teeth when he was doing that. I was thinking that is just not worth the risk, but somehow it worked out for Pease. He's up to 9th. Ton trying to come back at him though down the straight. Ton's tucked in his slipstream. Pease doesn't have the slipstream of the guys in front. All of the leaders are into the pit lane already, so Toxic, Campbell and Maverick are in. Verstappen stays out. Ton's back down the inside of Pease into turn 1. Can Pease fight his way around the outside? He's got more grip on the outside of the corner. They're so close, but Pease just holds on to it. Ton a little bit sideways. Here comes Larkin now. Round the outside of turn 2. Can he get the move done on Ton as well? He's going to have the momentum on the outside of the corner. I think Larkin's got this move done as well, so Ton loses 2 places and 2 corners. Pease is taking so many risks, but somehow they're working out.
Back.
He's coming down the inside. Has he got the inside line on Larkin? How late does he break? Not late enough. Larkin just about holds on. Meanwhile, Toxic has come out of the pit lane in 16th place. He has got so much ground to make up.
And we got as well, Verstappen's gone round again! Down there
Oh.
at turn 5, it's lost out. And Pease has gone past Jordan as well, he's already up to 4th. Verstappen was the
comes
last of
Larkin.
the super soft runners. And Larkin, round the outside of Jordan, gets through 5th place. That was very tight down there. Larkin and Total Pease making such risky manoeuvres as we go exit line now. Is battling with Tony Almanac there. Almanac has the inside line going towards the castle section. One of them has the yield surely. Like round the outside has done it. These guys are absolutely playing with fire down there.
Oh,
and
Ton.
Link's got through. Ton and must have made an error down there at the castle section. Now Gary's going to go through on the inside. Lang as well is on the inside of Jordan. They're going side by side. Wow, wow, wow. Do not touch. As yet again we're going side by side towards turn 15. Lang late on the brakes. Has the inside line. Just about gets it stopped for the corner. Jordan gets underneath. Judgment's out the session now. As Jordan comes back to the inside. Brakes very, very late. We've got fuel safety car again. And Jordan, has he nicked that place? No, he hasn't. But this does bring some of the guys that pitted back into contention. What's going on?
It's a virtual safety car, so it's not a
VSC, sorry.
It's a VSC, so not a full safety car, so this doesn't quite save some people. Verstappen, though, another big name. He's spun again. How many times have we seen this season that Verstappen has good outright speed, but just can't keep the car on the road? Whether it's on brakes or just on traction, he's spun the car and is missing pretty much all of his front wings, so he's into the pit lane to change. Annex Selling's into the pit lane as well to change from the super softs. He had to pit to meet the mandatory wall, so his race has gone from bad to good to bad again, so he's back down to the back of the field. That puts Larkin and Pease side by side. Oh, just about. Pease holds on to 3rd place. Oh, and Tim spun on the exit of turn 2, so Tim's lost the car. Another free place for Pease and Larkin. They're up into 2nd and 3rd. This is the battle for the net race lead, though. Larkin down the inside. He's got really, really good speed in a straight line. Is Pease going to fight around the outside? He is. He just about leaves him room. Little bit of contact, but Pease just holds on. Great defensive driving from Pease. He holds on to 2nd place, but Larkin knows that this is an amazing opportunity to make more ground on Toxic. He has a great run out of turn 4. He's looking to the outside of turn 5, but Pease really, really late on the brakes. Holds on to the place for just about holds on to 2nd place. Larkin stays in 3rd for the time being, but Larkin is crawling all over the back of that Campos car. He knows that he wants to try and win this race and pull out more of a gap on Toxic, who's currently 13th in this race. He's so far down the order. Most people still have to pit in front of him, but he's got a lot of ground to make up. Larkin trying to crawl over the back of him, but he can't do it at the moment. Pease in 2nd. Chill now in the race lead, but he's still yet to pit. So he leads the race from the back of the grid. He's now leading the race, but he's high seconds out in front and has to make another pit stop. So he will be in probably in the next couple of laps or so. Campbell's worked his way past Ibo, as has Toxic. Toxic now has a 4.5 second gap back to JD Nolan. I think Nolan's back in his car, so that's going to be another place that Toxic has to make up. But massive opportunity here for Larkin to get back in the lead, to pull away in the lead of the championship once again.
Yeah, that strategical may pay off, but he's still got a fire on his hands, because Total Pease has been every inch the equal of him so far in every fight that we've seen between them, and there has been a fair few. Now onto the main straight yet again to close off lap 8 of this race. The DRS will be active for the Arden car. Is very close this time. He's going to go towards the inside. I don't think Pease is going to fight this one. Larkin with DRS with slipstream 320 kilometers an hour, and it's through. Gary as well gets past Jordan. He could be on for a podium here today. We got more overtaking down there. That's Tim's got past Philippe, and now Philippe tries to fight it back, can't quite find a way through. There is battles galore out there. Here back goes Ton Almanac down the inside on Jordan JT, his compatriot. They may almost make contact down there at turn 2, and we got contact down there. That's Miami 5 round.
Yeah, I don't know if he spun on his own or if he had contact from his teammate. They were very, very close on the track, but Miami spun on the exit of the corner and has lost a lot of his front wing from what could have been the top 5 for Miami. He's now down towards the back of the field. Toxic and Campbell worked their way past. Ton and Jordan are side by side once again. I think Ton's got the move done this time, so he's up into 5th place, but still has to make his pit stop. One person to look out for. Killer Blue now down the inside of Jordan, but doesn't go for the move. Killer Blue started this race from right at the back of the field after a quali ban, and he at the moment is the closest challenger to Gary for a podium position.
This is incredible from Killer Blue. A great comeback drive, and he is swarming over the back of these two drivers that still need to pit in this race. Killer looks for any manoeuvre. He's got so much more grip, so much more in those tyres, and he's looking for any opportunity, but this second sector doesn't really provide that. He can get a better run out of the castle section. He could go for a bit of squirreling from the rear end there. He's got to try and keep that one in check. He's still all over the back of Jordan JT. Is there any sort of move going down towards the wall at turn 15? We've seen overtakes here, but Killer thinks better of it. Doesn't go for anything too risky. I'm going to turn my eyes back towards that sensational fight over second place. We're still winning on our race leader, QVR Chill. to come into the pits, which will release these two, and they will dispute the race win here in this feature race. Larkin gets a good run off the final corner, but is it going to be good enough? This DRS could play such a role here, as I think we're going to see yet another swap here. Total Peace picks up that slipstream. He is to the inside of the championship leader, goes through. Total Peace fighting tooth and nail for this one, and gets through. Now we've got Killer Blue 195. He is up in a sixth place on the road. Through it, now he's chasing down into Talon Albina. But now we had another swap up in that battle for P2 on the road. Larkin had to give that one up there as Campbell's got past Toxic down there. Further down the main straight, he is through. That's definitely an interesting one. As now, back towards the battle for second, because Larkin is down the inside. Look at that second place on the road. No! Total Pace hangs on beautifully round the outside. Fends off the championship leader. What a fight we're seeing yet again. The main straight proving to be the main hunting ground for both of these drivers, as I think we may have to go back towards now. I think Toxic's too far away from Campbell, but that's definitely a battle to look out for. I can't turn my eyes away from more battles, because now we've got one here. It's Tim and it's Jordan. Tim trying to go round the outside. It's caught off this contact. They go spearing into the wall, and there's definite damage to Jordan's car. They're able to pick it up there, but now with both of them to make a pit stop, now with front wing damage, that's disaster for the pair of them now. That's going to set them back majorly in this race.
That is a massive problem. JD Nolan, meanwhile, has gone down the escape road and retired from the race. He's had some sort of major problem because he was running ahead of QVR Campbell in 10th place. And he's now dropped right out of the positions. Yeah, Tim and Jordan both missing their front wing, so they're going to have to come in. They were going to have to pit anyway. But Toxic didn't replace his front wing in that pit stop, so that's why he's struggling so much. He's missing end plates on both sides of his front wing, and he hits the wall again. So Toxic is running with so much damage at the moment. How on earth he's still within DRS range of Campbell, I do not know. But he's at such a massive disadvantage. Meanwhile, Larkin right on the back of Peas once again as they come down the pit straight. Larkin's going to have the momentum. He's surely going to have the move this time. These two keep swapping positions every time they come down the straight. Toxic with a time penalty as well, so that's going to cost him even more places at the moment. Larkin back past Peas, and that's now into the official race lead as Chill comes into the pit lane. Larkin retakes the lead of the race ahead of Peas, but these two keep swapping positions at the start of every lap. It's almost going to be who times this to perfection and goes for the move at the line, because these two are so inseparable in terms of speed. Gary now runs third ahead of Killer Blue fourth, and Philippe is in fifth after being held up behind Larkin in the pit stops. Campbell's up to sixth. Oh, Maverick has passed Toxic now, so Maverick's up into seventh. Toxic's down into 8th place. Chill's going to come out onto the track, I think, in 9th on a fresh set of super soft tyres directly behind his teammate who has front wing damage. So Chill could knock Toxic out of reverse grid pole here.
Well, he is the question. He's still got a lot of time to make that up there, and Toxic is severely compromised by the massive front wing damage he has. Both end plates are almost gone. He's got so much reduced downforce, and Maverick, as you mentioned, managed to find his way through the gap. Under 8 seconds between them with much fresher tyres and the two-step softer compound on the other Pirelli car, QVR Chill. He is going to be flying up to him, surely. We will see, of course, that those questions will be answered in the next 5 laps, in the next 9-10 minutes or so here at Baku. Now, back to the race leaders, because they are, as you mentioned, completely inseparable. Larkin made the move start of the lap, and Pease will not cede that DRS. He will not go away, he will not relent, and he still sits on the rear end. I'm sure Larkin would want a nice, calm, easy victory, but at the moment, that is absolutely guaranteed to not be the case at the moment, with the pressure being applied by Total Pease. We are on to the main straight at the end of lap 11. DRS will be active, but Larkin might have enough of an advantage this time. SP starting to set back. We will see Larkin holding that advantage as we go down towards turn 1. Does Peace go for a late launch there? He's closing all the time. Looks to the inside. He's going to go for it very, very little. He's going to get that one stop. He's on the inside there. Looks for a way to run out of the corner. He might just get his nose in front of Larkin. They're side by side again towards turn 2. But Peace this time has the nose in front. Is able to get it back in front. But now the switchback comes through. And the championship leader will fight back. Peace squeezes him towards the wall on the inside. There's millimeters between Larkin and the other car. He's millimeters between himself and the wall. But he fades his way through. Has the inside line. I will complete the maneuver, or does he? Peace tries to fight back. He is on the outside now in a turn 4. Tries to do him on the brakes. Larkin defends it. Switchback from Total Peace isn't ain't quite going to come through. I don't think Larkin just holds the race lead. These guys are fighting several laps with a checkered flag. Absolutely superb stuff. Larkin holds the lead, but my oh my, he's under pressure. And here comes Pease again. No, backs out of this one. But wow, they are absolutely going at it. Got to watch for no incidents, because these guys battling so hard. They've got to try and make sure they don't come together. Larkin holds the lead, but who knows what could happen in the last 3.5 laps.
I can't keep up with this. This is insane battling. These two were inseparable in Spain, and then once again they are inseparable here. Gary's still running in third meanwhile behind, but he's being caught very quickly by Killer Blue. Killer Blue trying to get on the podium. Killer Blue's not scored a point this season, and he's trying to get on the podium for his first point score of the season. That'd be a great result from him from the back of the field. But P's still swarming all over the back of Larkin as we come 2-3 laps to go when we cross the line further down. Chill is already only 2.5 seconds behind Toxic. He's taken 5 seconds out of him in 1 lap. Chill is absolutely flying. At this rate, Ling could be on the back of Toxic by the end of the race, because Toxic has absolutely no pace at all with that damage on his car. He hops over the curb on the inside of the corner, but Chill is absolutely flying. This also means a massive swing in the manufacturer's race, because at the moment Arden are gaining a lot of points over Trident and Prema. Prema only 8th and 9th. Trident only 6th and 13th. Verstappen down in 13th. P's having another look to the outside of turn 1. This time round, he's not close enough to make a move into turn 1. He has to stay in behind. Does he go for a move, though, down the second DRS straight? Is he close enough? He's looking to the inside, trying to force a mistake from Larkin. He's so late on the brakes compared to Larkin in front as they come on the exit of turn 2. Can Pease get the run towards turn 3? He's in the DRS. He's in the wheel tracks of the car in front. Can he look to the inside? Larkin doesn't defend the line. Pease is down the inside, but Pease backs out of it. Pease doesn't go for the move this time round. I think Pease might be waiting maybe until the final lap to make his move. He sticks in second for the time being, but they're still inseparable, and Larkin holds on just for the time being.
And one thing I want to note is that towards the end of the straight, Pease actually closed his DRS. He didn't have any interest in making the move there, I don't think. He's now looking towards his two teammates. Chill, down the inside. It's through Toxic. Toxic cannot offer any resistance. QVR Chill still up for a decent result after a disastrous qualifying. That would be good going. Certainly for the man in 4th place in the standings. Now on reverse grid pull, does he stick with it or does he try and move forward? Out there on track. Leg is through on Kevman. He gets up into the top 10. He is still in the hunt as well for that reverse grid pole position. He is going to be gunning for 8th place as well on track. He's still got time, but he's got a lot of ground to make up still. Toxic may still hold on tonight just yet, but just mistake after mistake for the championship contender, defending champion at the moment, is seeing him plummet down the field at the moment and will not be benefiting from the reverse grid. As it stands, he's got to hope for a miracle in the last 2.5 laps. Here and back, and now we look again to the race leaders. Larkin has managed to hold this lead for the last few laps. We're coming round now with just 2 to go, and you can still not call who is going to come home with the race victory here. DRS will be in order for Total Peace. Yet again, Larkin has a decent advantage, only lining the gap 0.3 of a second, but look at the closing speed of Total Peace. He's flying up to him, goes towards the inside, breaks lane again. Can he get a move done this time? Larkin holds him right the inside, carries the momentum, runs wide though, and Peace down the inside has your race lead now out on track. Does he hold it this time though? Out of turn 2. Traction is so good for Larkin out of all of the major zones. That's where he's got his advantages, and now he closes him down again. Goes to the outside this time. He got very close there, and yet again he's right up against the wall. Let's try and make the manoeuvre, but Peace does not yield, and Peace still on the inside. There's a little bit of wheel rubbing between them. Round the outside goes Larkin. 4S has the inside line. Can he complete it? Yes, he can. Almost identical to a few laps ago. Larkin is now a bit more established in the race lead. That will be a confidence booster. Head of last lap. We still cannot call who will win this race, but Larkin is doing everything in his power. He really wants this one. Can he hold on to it with a lap and a half to go?
This is unbelievably incredible racing. How on earth these guys have not crashed? As Pease picks up a time penalty. That's going to cost him in case Larkin doesn't get one, but that means that Larkin at the moment is going to win this race on penalties alone, and Pease isn't going to be able to challenge unless Larkin gets one himself. So Pease has really compromised himself here. He's going to have to try and force Larkin into an error that picks him up a time penalty, but Larkin leads as we come up towards the final lap. Killer Blues now within DRS range of Gary as well for the final spot on the podium. What a drive this has been from Gary. His best of the season so far by a long shot. He's trying to hold on to 3rd place, but Killer Blue's closing in all the time. Campbell's closing in on Philippe for 5th place. He's caught him so quickly in the last few laps. Chill's caught Maverick as well for 7th place, so it's about between those two as to whether one of these drivers is going to be on reverse grid pole. Kevman's past Ling, so can Kevman catch Toxic? It's a big gap, but obviously Toxic does have a time penalty. Make that 2 time penalties.
Wow.
So Kevman, if he can get within, he only needs to gain 2 tenths on Toxic, and Toxic could drop to 10th place in this race, which would be a disaster for second in the championship as the 2 race leaders once again go side by side. Pease gets the move done a lot earlier down the straight this time round though. Passes Larkin well before turn 1. He's back in the lead of the race, but it's it's all for nothing at the moment. He's going to have to hope that Larkin picks up a time penalty as Campbell passes Philippe down into turn 1 as well. Campbell breezes past the other man up into 5th place. Good recovery from him on a compromise strategy up into 5th. This is probably one of the best races we've seen so far this season from Campbell. Philippe had nothing to fight for it. He drops down into 6th place, but still a good result for Arden, despite him only being in 6th place.
Looking behind now is Tonava that goes past Ling. I'm watching this battle there. Chill on the back of Maverick going to try and get a move done at the last minute. It's going to go to the inside towards turn 2 as Verstappen picks up another penalty in this race. But Chill has the inside lane on Maverick. Maverick tries to hold the right inside, late on the brakes, but can't quite see it through. And Chill's up at the 7th at the death. Here in Baku, we cannot turn our eyes away from the race leaders there. Larkin has dropped back on this lap, and all he has to do is just avoid any major errors, and he will come through. Pease is absolutely flying. He's giving it everything. The gap is over a second for the first time in such a long time up in this battle for the race win. But at the moment, it's not going to be enough. Larkin is doing what he needs to do. Gary is just about doing what he needs to do against Killer, bearing down on him 7 tenths away. All Larkin has to do is just avoid any incidents. It should be relatively simple. He's just going to get round this final major braking zone. He should be home and dry, barring any disaster through the final 2 corners. Leave it to you to take it over the line. Peace heading for the race win, but will it be after the penalties are applied?
What a battle this has been between these two. I thought Spain feature race couldn't be topped. I think it's been topped. What a race this has been. Peace is going to win on track. It's been such a drive from him, but a penalty in the penultimate lap of the race means that Larkin is going to take the win, and he's going to increase his championship lead. Mr. Consistency this season is going to continue his run of great finishes. Larkin wins the feature race. Gary's just going to hold on to 3rd place ahead of Killer Blue. Great result from Gary to take 3rd, Killer Blue 4th. Campbell crosses the line in 5th place. Good comeback from him. Philippe crosses the line in 6th. Chill's in 7th. Maverick stayed within DRS range and nearly re-caught and passed Chill, but doesn't get there in the end. Maverick's going to take reverse grid pole for the sprint race. Toxic's going to cross the line in 9th, but Kevman, I think, is close enough to take him on penalties, unless Kevman has one himself. Here comes Kevman across the line. He passes Toxic. Toxic drops to 10th, nearly 11th. Tom was only 2 tenths off. Ling only in 12th after 2 pit stops in this race. What could have been for him? Jordan's going to be next across the line, but Tim is swarming all over the back of Jordan. This isn't for points, unfortunately, I don't believe, but Tim is swarming all over the back of the Campos man. This is going to be a drag race to the line between these two. Who's going to get the best run? Jordan's weaving all over the straight, trying to break the slipstream, but Tim, I don't think is close enough when they come up to the line. It's going to be very, very close, but not quite there. Jordan just holds on to 13th ahead of Tim in 14th. 15th goes the way of Miami in the end after Verstappen's time penalty. Verstappen only 16th. What a disastrous race for Verstappen in the end. Alex will cross the line in 17th and Ibo will be the last to finish. He's coming up to start the final sector in a couple seconds time. What a race we have just witnessed. Like I said, I thought the Spain feature race couldn't be topped, but I think it's been topped. That is, for me, best race of the season so far.
It's certainly a contender for it there. I personally still prefer the feature race from Spain, but we can go around separate ways with that. They were both superb. But yeah, Larkin in the end just did what he needed to do. Pease will be furious with that penalty. He was just a lap and a half away, and in the end it's got away from him, but still a superb drive. He's really made a name for himself, Total Pease, this season as one of the top drivers in the league, and he's really taken it to some of the bigger names out there. But Larkin, that is huge. Full sum of points in this race, whereas Toxic had a mare out there. Larkin takes in another race win, and that's going to be a huge step towards the championship.
Massive, massive step. We said before the race started that the pendulum might be swinging back towards Toxic. I don't know what Larkin's done, but he's kicked the pendulum back towards himself somehow. That is a massive points gain for Larkin. Race win in the end. I didn't see who picked up the fastest lap. We'll find out in a second who gets the fastest lap point. But Larkin will take the feature race win. Great result for him. Toxic only 10th after great pace at the start. It all fell apart from him as soon as the safety car came out. But here is the final results then. Larkin wins the race ahead of Pease. Pease wins on track, but a good result from him. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, that is the third second place finish in a feature race for Pease in a row. He has been the bridesmaid in the feature race 3 times in a row. I'm sure a win will come his way at some point in this season, but he's had an amazing start to his season. Gary in third, first podium for him in Formula 2. What a race!
17th to third.
That's a great result from Gary. Master stroke in the strategy from all of these guys in the top 4. Killer Blue 4th in the back of the grid as well. Campbell win 5th ahead of Philippe 6th. Chill 7th and fastest lap, so picks up that point. Maverick in 8th and on reverse grid pole for the Carlin. Kevman picks up 9th on debut from 19th on the grid. Good result from him. Toxic only 10th, and then it's Tun, Ling, Jordan, Tim, Miami, Verstappen, Alex and Ibo the finishers. Nolan and Driving Dutchman, both Dams cars, did not finish the race. So that's a disaster really for Dams and the manufacturers. But once again, what a drive from our top 2.
Absolutely. They gave us some show out there, and I hope that we see it again, because they will, of course, be starting 7th and 8th on the grid for the sprint race that we're going to be treated to in just a matter of minutes. Looking forward to this one. I believe it's Alt Maverick pole, if I'm not mistaken, with Chill joining on the front row. We'll see how those guys shape up. They're also drivers that have kind of come to the fore at times throughout this season, and now they both have a really good chance out there. It's going to be a tough one to call this sprint race, but Aidan, who would you go for?
Oh my word, I no idea. I think just based on the grid, I would say Chill's probably your best bet for sprint race victory. And Chill, I don't believe, my memories, I have the memory of a goldfish, but I don't believe Chill's won a race so far this season. So this is probably his best opportunity to win a race, because every time Chill has come close, Toxic's been ahead of him and has outclassed him. So this is Chill's best opportunity to get that race win. But you can't bet against Maverick, because Maverick really undersold himself at the start of the season. And I've said it a couple of times already this season. He's really, really shone. For a person that didn't have a lot of confidence coming into the season, he's really shone and had a great start to the season. He's currently running, I believe, 7th in the points, if I'm not mistaken. Let's have a double check, actually. He's 9th, sorry. He's 9th in the points, just behind Pease and Danny Boy. And Danny Boy obviously isn't here. So that's a good opportunity for Maverick to move up in the championship. So I think it's going to be a good battle between those two. But I think for race win, I think it might be Chill this time round.
Okay, we'll see, of course, how that all shapes up there. One thing of note here is looking at the tyre choices, and this, for sprint races, this isn't something that we usually consider. Killer Blue and Miami 5 both opting to run these super soft tyres. Now, that is certainly a risk, because, of course, making a pit stop in a sprint race, in most cases, it can be absolutely detrimental. Charles Leclerc would beg to differ on that one. But, yeah, they're going to be struggling to get to the end of the race. But sure, during the first few laps, they'll have such an advantage. So watch out for Killer Blue to maybe make an impression amongst those top faces, to maybe challenge for the race win it there. We'll see if the Super Softs can make the distance, but if they can, well, he's in for a great chance out there.
Knowing Baku, I wonder whether Killer is gambling on some sort of chaos or safety car here, because I don't know if the game lets you choose which tyre you start the sprint race on. I've not actually taken part in a Formula 2 race on this game as of yet, but Killer Blue and Miami, both MP Motorsport cars on the super soft tyres, they will not get to the end of the race. The super soft tyres will not get to... If they make it 11 laps in this race, I will be astonished, and that I will just give driver of the day to Killer Blue and Miami for that, if they can get to the end of this race with no punctures. But I wonder if Killer Blue is gambling on some sort of chaos in this one. It's Baku, it's the sprint race, it's reverse grid, and we've already seen a little bit of chaos in the feature race, and the sprint race tends to be more chaotic. So I'm wondering whether that's what Killer Blue's doing.
Yeah, but we will see, of course. It's going to need quite a lot of fortune on his side. Again, we have no clue if he's just been forced onto that by the game. If so, that's very unfortunate. Or potentially a bit of a blessing in disguise. So we'll see, of course, how that all shapes up as we now get towards the grid with Alt Maverick guiding them round. We've seen it, of course, at times. He has grabbed a couple of podiums throughout the course of this season. This is a really good shot for him, as well as QVR Chell, to get himself into the mix of things. I think he's going to be kind of locked in battle now with Verstappen and Campbell and Ling potentially in that fight for third in the championship at the moment. So a big result here would be really important for him. He is chasing that and trying to back up his teammate and the manufacturer as well, after they had a very rough race there in the feature.
Yeah, he's really going to be trying to back them up. Arden have had a real swing of momentum in the feature race, and Philippe is currently running in third on the grid here, so it could still swing their way, and Larkin's only in 8th place, so they still have an advantage over their relative teams. I'll hand over to you, Daka, for the start of the sprint race, though.
Here we go then. We have Maverick Chill. That's your front row for that sprint race here in F2 Baku. Round 5 of the championship. Here we go. We have 3, 4, 5 lights. And we are away for the sprint race here at Baku there. So a very good sludge off the line from Childer. No, second base doesn't quite bad for him. And actually, it's Philippe. And there's a little bit of lunge down the inside for fourth in the championship there. K-Man is in. We have a VSC already down there at turn 1. You mentioned sprint race chaos. And it seems like we've been treated to it here. But Maverick was able to hold that race lead. Brilliant start from Philippe to get it through up into second on the road there. But Kevman going out there, that's not the debut he would have wanted, and damage for several cars, I think, further down the field. I
don't know if it was Gary or Kevman, but one of the ART cars had an appalling start. They were all over the road, and I think it's caught Toxic out. Toxic's broken his front wing again. Both races, wow. He's missing end plate on his front wing, so Toxic in 9th, trying to work his way forwards, has damage once again. I think it must have been Gary, because Gary was in front of him on the grid. Gary was all over the road off the start, had absolutely no traction at all. He picked up damage, along with maybe Kevman, and that's why might be why both Kevman and Ling are out of the race at turn 1. But again, another disaster for Toxic.
Of course, man, and he's just got such a mountain to climb now, so surely we will get back to racing very soon. Oh, Maverick with the race lead. We saw Philippe was very impressive, actually, making a strategy work in that feature race. Now he has a really good shot. Chill not start he would have wanted. Campbell tracking them in behind. Killer Blue didn't make the start he wanted either. I don't think there wasn't really able to make progress as we get back to racing now on the first lap. Here in the sprint race, Campbell's got a brilliant restart, and he's going to go towards the inside of Chill. Do not go for a move there from that distance. He just sent it behind. Chill holds on to that third place for the moment, tracking the two cars out in front of him. Now, Toxic, he did actually make a good start initially with line. He's tracking Larkin down there, as Luke is well further up there. You have our dynamic duo, Pease and Larkin. They are still right together on track. Turn your attention back towards the leaders, because I think Philippe had a good run, but Chill is all over him there as they all get a bunch up down the main straight as we come to the conclusion of the first lap here in this race. Oh, Maverick is immediately to the inside there. They're all going to bunch up there. The top 3 may go into turn 1 as one. Here we go now. Oh, Maverick defends the inside. Chill goes down the middle, tries to snatch that second place off of Philippe there. He runs wide and gives up to a Campbell up to third place. Now Chill is the inside. Little Maverick, he's looking for the racing contact between them there. Maverick has to get out of the way, and now Campbell tries to follow through. Behind his QBR mate there, he may be through. They are absolutely wheel to wheel down the main straight as we got Philippe tucked behind there, Larkin is all cars everywhere at the moment there. Now, side by side, Maverick right inside of Campbell. He wants to try and hold this fourth place. That's third place on the road, my apologies there. They're wheel to wheel yet again there, but Campbell has the momentum. Round the outside, and he grabs it with both hands there. He is through second place now on the road there. Oh, Maverick has to settle back in the third place after pole position. Chill and Campbell making the absolute most of that. They've got through, made brilliant restarts, and now they lead the way here in this race. QVR versus QVR up at the front. Can Chill hold on, or can Campbell hunt him down?
Oh, Toxic down the inside of Larkin, hits the wall on the inside of the corner. How he didn't pick up even more damage, I don't know, but that was a bold move from Toxic. It didn't work. Larkin got his elbows out, held the man behind, so Toxic stays in 8th place, but they've all caught this queue of cars now. Killer Blue on these super soft tyres, it's not working. He can't make any progress. He's stuck in 5th place at the moment. Maverick and Philippe fall from first and second to 3rd and 4th. It's now a QVR battle up front. Chill leads, but Campbell was having the best week of his season so far.
Between the two championship contenders. Larkin has put Thomas against the wall. Oh my word! The two championship contenders have come together. Gary's right outside of Toxic. They have made contact. Down there at turn 15, I think the cars got interlocked and they went spearing towards the wall. Oh my word. They have came together. This is absolutely massive. I think they may both sustain front wing damage in that. Gary's up behind Larkin. Killer is dropping back there. He's struggling back there and he's going to have to pit. So that sprint race has not gone well for him. Now Gary's side by side with Larkin, who's staying out there. Toxic is into the pit, so he's got too much damage there. And Killer Blue's out of the race now after retiring early on. Larkin gets back underneath Gary, does not want to get this one up, and they'll side by side now going towards turn 2. Inside line, it's with the Arctic car, but Gary sweeps around the outside, pinches him tight to the apex, and now they're side by side again. DRS is with Larkin, and he fights back. Gary, they're on wheel to wheel down the main straight as Total Peas moves up past Philippe as well. Larkin just covers up, and he's up into sixth as now further back down the field, Philippe holds on just in front of Total Peas, who couldn't get through on that occasion. Wow, 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 we have seen some massive championship news. Toxic Force in their contact with Larkin. What will they have to say about that?
I didn't quite catch that one from my end. I just saw the aftermath of it, Toxic in the wall. Larkin amazingly got away with no damage. He's got absolutely no damage on his front wing, unless he's got some that we can't see. But that is so lucky from Larkin that he's got nothing on the front of his car. He's still running in 6th place, so he can still finish in the top 5 in this race. Toxic is stone dead last. I do not see him getting back into the points unless there is a safety car in this race. Looking further down the field, Miami's up to a length in the other MP Motorsport car, but he's on the super soft, so he's going to have to pit. He's actually looking down the inside of Tim into the first of the kinks, but Tim just holds the line. Miami backs out of it. JD Nolan's worked his way up into 12th from 19th on the grid. He's had a great start in the dams, and Verstappen is directly behind him in the second of the Trident cars. Looking at the front of the field though, Chill leads. He's broken DRS to Campbell, so Chill looks at the moment to have the outright speed over his QVR teammate. Maverick holding on just about in 3rd place. He's still within DRS range of Campbell, so he's doing a very good job. They've completely dropped Philippe and Pease at this point, who have been battling very, very hard on the last few laps. Is Pease close enough to Philippe? He's not going to be close enough into turn 1. I don't think this time around, as Chill sets the fastest lap of the race at 54.2. I imagine that will probably be beaten as we get into the race. Pease looking down the inside of Philippe at turn 1, so late on the brakes, but not close enough. Pease stays in 5th for the time being. They are being caught.
Miami 5 is down the inside of Tim. They almost made contact there. He went for a double overtake, Miami 5, as Verstappen, side by side, there were JD Nolan, who fades it back, right outside, and they almost come together. But Verstappen claims the inside line. He is going to move through. He is up into 12th, just about. Further up through the field there, Total Peas looks for 4th place there. Right outside goes Philippe, can't hold it this time. And Total Peas up into 4th place now. He's going to try and get up to the top 3. He's on for a good haul of points, and maybe even the highest overall, with Larkin struggling back there in 6th. He's trying to fend off XL Gary behind him. There may be serious inquiries yet into that collision between Larkin and Toxic. I cannot believe for the life of me that those two have come together. Such experienced drivers have made the error. I'm not sure if that was a contact model issue or a driver error. It was a very peculiar accident. But Larkin down into 6th. He suffered, but not nearly as much as Toxic, now down into 17th as Verstappen is going to side by side to the castle section. Oh my word! And Verstappen gets through there. He is getting the elbows out there, and Jordan had to get out of that one. JD Nolan is going to look towards the outside there. This is so risky. He's right up against the wall. Tries to get right outside there. The Dabs car almost runs out of space. He's going to go back to the inside now from turn 15. Do not come together here. They make contact, and JD Nolan almost goes round. Alex is now to the outside, go towards the final braking zone on the lap. He is through, up into 13th place. Please take over, Aiden. I need a breather. This is just chaos out there.
There is fighting all the way through the field. If you looked at this without any context, you wouldn't believe this is a fight for 12th, 13th and 14th. What a battle this is. But they're currently not in the points at the moment. They're going to be hoping to get further up out front. Chill sets another fastest lap. JD Nolan's coming back at Alex. This is the closest battle on the track at the moment. Philippe looked like he might have had another go at Pease. They're 3 wide. Jordan dives into the pit lane at the last moment with front wing damage, so he cuts into the pit lane. Nolan trying to go back round the outside. He's so late on the brakes round the outside of Alex. Alex forces him wide, but JD Nolan with momentum pulls the move off. What a move from JD Nolan. And Verstappen in front of him spun, and Nolan goes through him, but goes, and Tim spun as well. So they all 3 of them, I think, picked up damage. Verstappen, Tim and Nolan all pick up damage. JD Nolan's up into the top 10, but caught out by Verstappen's spun car as there's more contact.
Alex brake check. I think he jumped into his AI there, and he's given Verstappen wing damage. He had no time to react to the Dutchman. That is so strange. I'm not sure what on earth has happened down there, but Verstappen now with wing damage. I think maybe Alex had to pause his game because he just slowed down in the middle of the straight. I have no clue what on earth has happened there. Verstappen with wing damage. What a nightmare afternoon this has been.
It's such a nightmare for Verstappen, and it's more than guaranteed now that Verstappen is gonna lose 3rd place in the championship after this round, with Chill up front, Campbell up front, and Pease scoring very, very well. Verstappen could lose a number of places in the championship. Larkin, meanwhile, passes his teammate. I think Philippe led him through that time round, so Larkin up into 5th place. More points gained on Toxic, but we'll still have to wait and see if anything comes of that incident between the two of them. By the looks of things, Larkin was ahead of Toxic, so I think Toxic maybe went for a move into the corner, and they made contact on the exit. So I wonder if that maybe Larkin didn't leave enough room for Toxic, or Toxic was just a bit too over-ambitious. We'll have to wait and see, but Philippe might actually be coming back at his teammate here. He's very close to the back of him as they come down the straight. Is he going to be close enough? Meanwhile, Campbell within DRS range of Chill for the race lead, so they're getting closer and closer together. Maverick's still in 3rd, but losing out. Toxic with another time penalty. He's been the one that's caught out the most with time penalties so far. Philippe's coming back at his teammate. Philippe down the inside towards turn 1. He's back into 5th place. So Larkin was let through, and now Philippe is back through again. So Larkin drops back down to 6th place, and Gary's right on the back of this one as well, trying to work his way forwards. Does Larkin look down the inside towards turn 2? He has a look, but he's not close enough to make the move step. Oh, but he hits his teammate! He hits his teammate. Philippe's into the wall. Philippe, I don't think, picked up any damage, but Larkin was caught out by how early Philippe braked for the corner, and he slid the car into the wall. Gary's up into 6th place. Tons now coming down the inside of Philippe for 7th as well. Is he going to get the move done? Let's wait and see. He's looking down the inside towards turn 3, and I think he's going to get it done, as Philippe's fall really late on the brakes, too late on the brakes, and he's whacked the wall. It's all fallen apart for Philippe after contact with his teammate, and that puts Miami up into 8th place on the super soft tyres.
Guys, we've got more contact down there as Tim ran into the back of Verstappen. Verstappen spears across the track, almost runs into him. There is incident galore out there on the track. Verstappen rear locking is going to come under pressure from driving Dutchman now, but I just want to go back. Rule 1 of racing, never hit your teammate, and they have committed the cardinal sin. I think Larkin was just caught out by how early Philippe was braking. He had wing damage, Philippe, which explains that one, and Larkin was not prepared at all. They made contact, very slight, but Philippe went spearing out to the wall. An uncharacteristically messy race for the championship leader. He may be gaining points on Toxic for now, but surety queries could change that. Larkin has been caught up in the wars this time, and he could potentially even have penalties on his head.
Meanwhile, race for the lead. It's now under half a second, so Campbell's slowly gnawed away at that race lead, and on the last lap, he's gained a lot of time. Chill's starting to lose pace as the race goes on. Campbell's getting quicker and quicker in the Trident. Can Campbell get his 2nd sprint race win of the season? He's in the slipstream of Chill, and he's going to get him well before turn 1. He's down the inside. Chill has nothing to fight with. It's such a long straight. Campbell breezes past and sets the fastest lap of the race. Campbell takes the race lead ahead of Chill, who drops to 2nd in this one. Campbell into the lead and looking for a 2nd sprint race win of the season.
But can Chill fight back is the question. DRS galore at this track, of course, and the first of the zones will come up here. Is he going to fight back? Chill's got a good slipstream down the straight. Campbell defends to the inside though, so Chill forced around the outside. He's going to get a nose in front towards the braking zone, but Campbell doesn't give it up. We got contact. I think as Philippe's gone into the wall, we got a full safety car.
Oh.
Well, this has changed things. The 7-second lead the two leaders have wiped out. Full SC out there on track. This dramatically changes things there. As look behind, we've got Miami, Toxic. They all have chances now. They can change their tires. They can get right back in the mix here.
This has thrown it wide open, and this has somewhat saved Toxic's race. Now that he's on the back of this queue once again, he does have a time penalty, but he'll be back on the queue of cars by the time this race finishes, so he can regain some places. By the looks of things, Philippe hit the pit entry wall. He had so much damage on the front wing that he's come into the pit lane with too much speed and has hit the wall, so he's out of the race. Tim and Jordan are currently running down. Jordan's nearly a lap down. I don't know what has happened to Jordan in this race, but he's running nearly a lap down, so this is a saviour for his race once as well. Is Tim going to come into the pits? No, Tim's already pitted, so Tim's on the super soft tyres. Will he jump Toxic in the pit stops? Not quite. Toxic comes out of the pit lane in 14th place. Miami pitted as well off those super softs onto a new set of mediums, and he's 12th, so he could work his way back into the points. But I did not expect this to be the order at the end of lap 7. Chill and Campbell I somewhat expected, and then Maverick is in 3rd, P is 4th, Larkin 5th, Gary Tunn, JD Nolan, Alex and Driving Dutchman are the top 10. Both Dam's cars have come from the last row of the grid to 8th and 10th. This has been a great drive from those two.
They've just managed to stay out of trouble, Aiden. That's what's done it so far in this race. They've managed to just pick their fights nicely, not make the errors, and they have been rewarded so far. Now, I'm looking to this top 2, actually. Is there any major decisions? Are they heading for the pit lane? I think Chill is going to go. Oh, no, he's just peeled off last minute. I thought they might come in. It would be a risky call, because they would probably be sacrificing track position to those behind. Both the leaders stay out there, and they mirror each other. And now, with Campbell right on the back of Chill, we have a straight fight for the race win, and what will probably be about 2 laps of racing once the flag hits once we get back to green flag racing, who knows who's going to come out on top there.
This is going to blow it right open. And this has massively helped Pease and Larkin. Both Pease and Larkin were closing in on Maverick. Fair play to Maverick. He's been doing a really, really good job in third place, holding on for the time being. He lost touch with the two in front, but he's been holding Pease in fourth place for the time being, so he's doing a good job. But his podium is now under threat from Pease, who can have a double podium by the end of this race. What a drive this has been today from Pease as well. Verstappen's into the pit lane to change his front wing, so he's looked like he's going to come out probably still ahead of Toxic. They had such a massive gap back to Toxic that Verstappen will probably still come out in 13th place despite all the damage and the long pit stop he's going to have. But this has helped Pease and Larkin close back in. Gary as well. Gary's had a strong race. He's in 6th. Ton in 7th as well. So a lot of people here with real opportunities to maybe fight for a podium.
Aiden, I'm a bit overwhelmed at the moment there. What kind of race? Just F2 is just so action-packed and it's so frantic, and I absolutely love covering it with you, Aiden. This has been superb stuff so far, and it is far from over. We will still have a shootout to end this race. Once we get back to green flag, it will be Chill versus Campbell versus Maverick versus whoever many others manage to get themselves, pull themselves into a lead fight. Chill has been relatively untouched. We saw briefly Campbell manage to get through. Chill immediately pegged it back, and now we're going to see again Chill's lead will be under more threat than ever. Campbell and everyone else is going to try bear down on and they're breathe down his neck. We'll see if the man, and currently I believe in 4th place in the championship before this round, if he can put up with it and bring himself a critical race victory here in the sprint race.
It could be really critical for his championship. His teammate has not been inside the top 9 in either race so far, so massive opportunity for Chill and Campbell really to throw themselves into the championship battle here, now that one of the championship protagonists has really struggled today. I think by the end of today's race, if this race order stays as it is, Larkin might have over a 40-point gap in the standings, which is absolutely massive. That is a full event. That is a full weekend with a double win, is about 40 points. So that's a massive championship lead going into the next round, if he can hold on to it. Barring any penalties as well, coming after a couple of bits of contact with his teammate and with Toxic in this one. So this race is probably going to go on for another few days after this one, with the amount of stuff that we've seen so far. There's going to be going on for days in the steward's office. We'll have to wait and see what comes of any of that. But Chill with a massive opportunity here and looking set maybe to win his first race. Let's hope that the pressure doesn't get to him. It has got to him a couple times already this season where he's been in good places and it's just not come together for him. But now he's in the best opportunity to get that race win and really throw himself in that championship battle.
But there is so much pressure on his shoulders, and I'm not sure. I think just because Jordan is still a ways behind the rest of the field, I think that it's within regulation that we get at least 2 laps of a green flag at the end of races. I do hope that's the case. Of really finishing the race under a safety car would be the absolute worst nightmare. I'm not sure if it's 2 laps or 3 laps that we're guaranteed to get. We'll find out, I suppose, at the end of here on lap 9. But yeah, Campbell, Chill, they have gone at it. They're barely, at times, the gap has been very small. They're rarely over a second in this race. And so far, Chill has just about gotten the better of Campbell. But we still have, relatively speaking, a long way to go, particularly for the likes of Chill. He's caught, he's just think, please just end the race now. Dear God, I really don't want to put up with this any longer. But yeah, and especially behind Campbell, Maverick and Total P's, 2 of the fastest drivers, I think, on today's grid, and that's going to make that. We do get a safety car in at the end of this lap, so Jordan will not be with it, unfortunately. He'll be out of contention, but everyone else, I think, will be in this trade, gearing up to go. Here we go, Aiden Carter. Let's get this one underway. 2 laps of green. Sorry, who's going to come out on top here today?
I cannot predict this. I'm just going to wait and see, because I might jinx someone. Knowing how easy it is for me to jinx people in commentary, we'll have to wait and see. But this is going to be an incredible final 2 laps of this race. Chill's already gone. He's gone already. He's gone very, very early. The safety car's not even in the pit lane yet. Chill's already gone. So where does Campbell feature in all this? Half a second back. He's not quite close enough. Verstappen gets a time penalty for collision with Toxic. Further down in the safety car queue, Verstappen and Toxic have come together. And Verstappen has a time penalty, but Chill leads into turn 1, holds off Campbell just about. Maverick, feisty in third, close to the back of him, but not quite close enough. Pease in fourth. Larkin a little bit detached in fifth, ahead of Gary in sixth. Ton 7th, JD Nolan in 8th. Alex is wide in the background. Miami's already 10th. He's already up to 10th place, so he's had a great safety car restart. He's passed driving Dutchman, so can he get past Alex for 9th place? He's looking very, very close to that MP Motorsport, but there's no DRS for the rest of this race. He's going to have to do it solely in the braking zone for turn 3. Is he close enough? He looks to the inside, but he's not late enough on the brakes. Alex holds 9th for the time being. Meanwhile, at the front of the field, Chill still holds the lead. Campbell in behind. Maverick in 3rd. Pease 4th. Larkin 5th, Gary 6th. They are the top 6 in this race. Then it's Ton and JD Nolan rounding off the top 8. Toxic, meanwhile, is up into 12th. Both Verstappen and Toxic and Tim now have passed driving Dutchman. So Verstappen's up into 11th on those super soft tyres. JD Nolan massively cut the inside of the corner there. That's a time penalty for JD Nolan immediately. But Verstappen up into 11th place and dropping Toxic ever so slightly as well. But both of these drivers have time penalties. So it doesn't matter how many places they gain. It looks like they might lose all of them immediately at the race finish.
Yes, of course, we just have to wait and see how everything will be adjusted in terms of the likes of penalties and on-track possession. Now we look, I can't believe this. Pease and Larkin are now together on track. Can we say this in pretty much every single race that these guys have actually shared the track? They've been right next to each other on it. Absolutely sensational for both of them. We may have yet another duel to the flag between them, but now just over 1 lap between ourselves and a checker flag. And with no DRS, it's going to be a difficult task for Campbell, but he's right there. He's going to have Slipstream now with him, and he closes down on the race leader there. Chill. Does he defend to the inside towards turn 1? No, he's going to step aside. Campbell slips through, has the inside line, he's going to glide through on the mainstream. We've got Yellows back there in sector 3, but we got Chill. He's going to have to back out surely on the outside. He tries to stick it, but Campbell gets through. Now can he hold on? He makes a bit of a mistake. Oversteer off of turn 1 there. It can be so critical there. It could come down to a run to the line there. We cannot see just yet. Campbell still on the race lead. Can Chill fight back to him this time? He's closing down towards turn 3. Doesn't go for the inside. Campbell defends it though. He's going to cover off every angle he can, but Chill says nothing. He's going to go right outside. Can he pull that one off? No! Campbell covers it off just about. They are fighting tooth and nail on the final lap. Here at Baku. Almost nothing. Pease gets alongside. Pease gets alongside Maverick, and he's gone through into 3rd place potentially. No, Maverick fights back. Very, very little on breaks to the American. They're wheel to wheel again in turn 6. Contact between them. They're getting almost together, and now Larkin's in behind. 3 cars and less than a 10th between them. This is unbelievable stuff. Dual Pease now has the inside line. Oh no, Maverick. Can he get through this time? Maverick has slight from wing damage. I think the Pease might just get through into the podium. He does. Total Pease snatches 3rd place, potentially at the death. Up in the front though, Campbell's doing what he needs to do. 7/10's clear. Campbell chasing down. He might grab another sprint race victory here.
It's so close. Can Chill close in the last 2 proper corners of this lap? Can Campbell hold on and not make a mistake? Here they come down the hill. It looks fairly clean from both drivers. Campbell nearly hits the wall, but just about gets away with it. Chill gained a little bit of time though. He is closing down. How is the last corner for these two? Chill so late on the brakes. He's so committed.
Cool, Campbell mistake.
Campbell's is close. It's going to be close. This is going to be it. This is surely going to be a dead level across the line. Here we go. I said it before commentary. We might have a dead heat when it comes to the line. It might be in the sprint race. Campbell's moving all over the road to try and break the toe. Chill's got the momentum. Chill's going to have to go to the outside. Here they come to the line. Which one of these two is going to get the sprint race victory? It's so close. Chill has the momentum. Campbell has the inside. Chill, I think, is going to steal it. Chill steals it on the line, but has a time penalty. An unserved time penalty for Chill is going to drop him so many places. It was Chill's on the line, but Campbell takes the win in the end. That's such a shame for Chill that he had that time penalty. He loses the win. He would have won that race, I think, if I'm not correct, by less than 200ths of a second. That is incredible. Campbell wins then ahead of Pease, who gets 2 second places. Great race from him. Maverick in the end does get a podium. He misses out on 2nd place by a 10th of a second. Larkin in 4th. Gary 5th. Chill drops to 6th in the end. Ton in 7th. Verstappen ended up in 8th with a 5-second time penalty. I don't know how he pulled that one off, but he's in 8th ahead of driving Dutchman 9th and Tim in 10th place. Toxic only 11th, so again, not really any. I don't think he scored any points in the sprint race, and he only scored a few in the feature, so it's all falling apart for Toxic today. But in the end, what an end to that race. Campbell with his 2nd victory of the season.
And breathe. Wow, wow, wow. What a night of racing yet again here at F2. I'm so gutted that Chill had that penalty because it kind of did take a little bit of the elation away from what was a spectacular finish over the line. But in the end, Campbell has come away with a race victory here. And yeah, just about managed to pull it through. Total P's grabbing that second place from Alt Maverick. I think both of them will be pleased with how this sprint race has gone. Total P's yet another superb day. He's really announced himself, but on this occasion, the man of the moment, QVR Campbell, is a sprint race winner.
Absolutely brilliant stuff from Campbell, and I think it's fair to say that this is probably his best showing of the season so far. This may be where his confidence builds and his season really starts to kick off. We saw a couple of errors, but it didn't cost him in the end. Campbell takes his second victory of the season after his first win at Bahrain in the sprint race. Great stuff from Campbell. Chill won it on the road, but a 5-second time penalty loses him his first race win of the season. He drops to 6th in the end. So here are the final results for the sprint race. Campbell wins ahead of Pease, who gets 2 second places in the feature and the sprint race. He's probably the highest scorer today, ahead of Maverick in 3rd place. Larkin in 4th. Good result from him, despite all the contact he had in that race. Gary in 5th, ahead of Chill in 6th in the end with the fastest lap. So somewhat of something he can take away from this race is the one on track, and he got the fastest lap. So that is some sort of points gained. Although I think Campbell might actually have the fastest lap, unless he got that with a penalty. Tun is in 7th place, ahead of Verstappen in 8th. A good recovery from Verstappen, despite all the carnage at the start of that race for him. Dutchman 9th from 20th on the grid, and Tim in 10th place. Toxic only 11th. What a disastrous week it's been for Toxic. Miami and JD Nolan 12th and 13th. Alex, Jordan JT, Ibo and Philippe, Ibo are the last finishers. Philippe, Killerblue, Ling and Kevman all did not finish the race, and it's fair to say the pendulum swings once again. It's now massive championship lead for Larkin.
Yes, indeed. There's going to be a long way back for Toxic. We'll see, of course, if he can pull it back. We still have an awful long season ahead of us, so do not look anywhere. Campbell manages to get himself back into things. We'll see. I have heard reports, actually, just from the Discord chat, that Chill's not exactly happy with the penalty that he did receive. So that result may not stand. We will see, especially because I think we will have quite a few stewards' inquiries from that race, just from what we saw throughout the field. But my oh my, yet another incredible night of racing from F2. This might be, honestly, out of all the leagues that I commentate on, this might be my favourite one so far. It's absolutely superb action week after week.
Honestly, I think I agree with you on that one. Sorry to all the people I commentate for as well, and I do really commentate for some great leagues, but the racing this season in Formula 2 has been absolutely insane, and it's going to continue to be a great season. We move from Baku this week, I believe, to Canada next week. So we go to another completely different track, and one that's not featured on the regular Formula 2 calendar. So that is another new challenge for these drivers, to drive a Formula 2 car around Canada, which at the best of times is a really difficult track to master.
Yeah, the walls never forgive, they never forget, and yeah, we will see who's going to have that forward say. I have to say, it's just a run of very technical tracks here. We had, Vietnam street circuit, Netherlands very tight circuit. We've had Baku here today, of course, another street circuit. In Canada, a high-speed street circuit. It's just absolutely incredible what we've seen. And of course, we will be treated to some more open tracks where the drivers can maybe relax a little bit more. But until then, we've still got a relentless run ahead of us, and I cannot wait to see how they all shape up. Stay tuned in a week when we get back for round 6 of the championship in Canada.
Do not miss a race for the rest of this season. This is going to be such an amazing season to watch, such a championship battle. Before we finish off the stream today, though, I'm going to ask you the impossible question. Who is your driver of the day today?
I don't think it's so impossible, actually. I think it has to be Total P's, to be honest. This is actually becoming more of a recurring theme I've noticed. But in general, I think Larkin might just edge him in terms of point scoring. But in terms of actual results, he managed to outdo him and didn't really put a foot wrong, despite that. Despite the penalty, really. So he drove brilliantly, as did Larkin, but he did get involved in a few incidents in that sprint race. So yeah, but overall, brilliant night of racing. Can't wait to see more. Yeah,
I can't wait to see more either. Actually, in the end, I do agree with you on Pease. He's definitely probably the driver. I don't know if we gave him driver of the day last time as well. I actually can't remember. But Pease definitely takes my driver of the day today, just through pure consistency. Like you say, he might not have the best score of the week, but I think yeah, in terms of results, he's definitely been the best and the most consistent. But that is where we are going to leave off the stream today. What a stream it was. Thank God there were no lobby issues like there were last week, because I don't think I would have lost my mind if I'd found out this is what the race was going to be and we were going to miss it because of problems with the servers, but it worked. So thank the Lord that it worked this week and we didn't miss any single lap of racing. That was amazing. But thank you everyone for tuning in. Thank you everyone for commenting on the stream. Thank you everyone for racing and giving us such good races today. And thank you, Dan, as well, for joining me in the comms box. It's always great to have you in the comms box. And I really, really do love doing this series. I obviously raced in it last season, but commentating on it for me is even better. I absolutely adore this. But can't wait for Canada next week. This time again next week. And then tune in, obviously, on Saturday on the League of Europe YouTube channel for all division races from Division 1 through to Division 5 at Baku as well. So if Formula 2 is anything to go by, the division races are probably going to be just as crazy this week as well. So tune in for those from 6:40 on Saturday evening. But again, thank you everyone for joining us. And we will see you again this time next week. From myself and Daka, it is goodbye.